Hola everyone, welcome back to another episode of Cafecito con Jessy. Today is a different video again. I feel like I always say that I'm going to be doing a different type of video, but that is kind of what this is. This is the New Year's 2020's first episode of Cafecito con Jessy. And from last year, I think I only did like 3 of them, and I got pretty good feedback from a lot of my friends and family about, discussing different topics of life and, just things that go on a regular basis for people. I think it's always fun, of course, to do beauty subscriptions and talk about wellness and lifestyle and like the fun things, but I also do think it is imperative to speak on mental health and of course more on the wellness side of things. So if you have not done already, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like, comment, share, do whatever you need to do to be supportive, and feel free to of course write any kind of recommendations, comments of anything that you guys would like to hear about in these episodes, of Cafecitos, or just in general. Everything will be very helpful. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Let me go ahead and get started. So today what I'm going to speak on is basically 5 tips to quickly get rid of anxiety. Now, as many of you have known, if you watch through here, if you know me, I do deal with a lot of anxiety issues. I have been seeing currently, and still am, I go to like a mental health, I have like a psychologist, and I talk to different people, and I just find myself, to sometimes not being able to connect with other people on this topic. Sometimes people tend to get a little bit embarrassed and they don't want to talk about, things that they may be going through as far as depression, anxiety, and things like that. But I do believe it's very, very important. And I want to share some of the tips that I've learned through these classes or through these meetings that I have with the psychologist, and also things that I have learned along my journey and my way of quick ways to decrease anxiety when you just feel like your mind and you're just kind of overstimulated. Now these are just basically quick fixes. It's not anything talking about diet and exercise. We all know, and pretty educated, that in order to have a good mental state and physical state, you must have a good diet, have a good exercise routine. But this is not really focusing on that. This is literally, you're in the moment, you feel like you're about to break, or you're going to have an anxiety attack, a panic attack. And these are just ways that I have learned to kind of cope with that. So I'm breaking it down into 5 tips. These don't go in any particular order. They're literally just 5 tips that I have learned. And I'm not going to lie, I don't always remember to do them. But if and when I do, I find them to be super, super beneficial to me. So we're going to start with number 1. Oh, and also, side note, these are more behavioral techniques. So, things that you can actually do to help you decrease the anxiety. Because as many of you may know, anxiety can come about in many different ways. It's not just it's not just somebody sitting there like this. It could be you in your head. You can be physically, clammy or sweaty, or there's just so many ways that anxiety can come about, and you might not even know that people are experiencing these type of feelings. So, all right, now let's get started. So number 1, which I think is so interesting and I think it's so accurate to do, is to actually chew gum. Chewing gum. So basically with chewing gum, it makes people feel calmer. Now, I think with one of the people that has spoke about chewing gum, because I didn't think this was a real thing, basically when you get scared or tense or anything like that, I don't know if you ever realize that sometimes your mouth gets a little dry, you get that cotton mouth sensation. When your mouth is salivating, you're kind of at a calmer state of mind. So they say, and research does show, that if you would just put a piece of gum in your mouth, the salivation of your mouth would actually help you calm down, and it makes you feel that you no longer need to be anxious. I think that's a super cool and different technique, because I've found myself many times kind of getting that feeling, and you can just literally pop in a little piece of gum or something. I'm kind of weird with the gum nowadays because I have a couple of cavities, so I'm kind of freaked out by it, but I literally will take like half a piece of gum or a quarter of a gum just to kind of give me that calmness sensation. So that's number 1. Number 2, and I wrote these down because I kind of wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So for number 2, posture. Posture is imperative. Now, I am really, really bad at posture. Even right now, I tend to kind of hunch over, lean forward. That is the worst thing that you could possibly do. Now, when you start to feel these feelings of anxiety, the best thing to do is to actually stand up. You want to stand up, push your shoulders back, open up your chest, And basically with your feet, you want to stand at a wide stance of support and evenly on the ground. Now, if you're at work or you're typing or you're doing homework or something, and there's something for some reason that you cannot stand up, you can do this while you're sitting down. Even like I'm doing right now, have your feet wide enough to the floor, shoulders back, chest open. See, I already said horribly with this. And posture can actually really, really help you ground yourself. I actually wrote a little note here. Yeah. I lost it. But anyway, yeah, basically by you doing that, it really helps you ground yourself, which is very, very important. And people don't realize how much posture can actually affect your mental state of mind. With that being number 2, number 3 for a great tip is breathing. Now, I have a very difficult time with this. I feel like I don't even breathe when I talk sometimes. I tend to go out of breath. I think I just get so like, and I don't breathe. Breathing is so important. I cannot even stress this enough. And there are different exercises that you can do for breathing that will really help you decrease those anxiety, that anxiety feeling. One of the ones I want to speak on is the 7-11 breathing. You can do 7, 11, or 5 and 9, I believe. I think I just think of 7-11 because I like going to 7-Eleven to get my stuff there. But anyway, it's 7-11. So basically the way you want to do it is you want to breathe in for 7 seconds. And I'm not even saying 7 seconds. It's actually quicker. So if you breathe in, it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you'd be breathing in the whole 7 count. And when you're releasing, you go for 11 count. Not 11 seconds, but an 11 count. Now, the way you want to do it is that when you're breathing in, you want to breathe those 7 count, that 7 count quicker. And the 11 count, you actually want it to be a little bit harder and a little bit more, longer. So you want to actually go, yeah, it's funny, but it really, really does help. Now, if you feel funny, do breathing out for 11 seconds. Like I said, you can always do the 5-9 method, which is basically the same thing. Now, this actually helps a person as a distraction. Calming a person is a distraction, and the best way to calm is through breathing. So between the posture and the breathing, that really, really is going to help you decrease those anxiety symptoms that you're having at the moment. So definitely a really, really good thing to take into consideration. For number 4, I have the 3-3-3 rule. Now, some people I have heard that do the 5-5-5 rule, whatever, however many numbers you want, but I think 3-3-3 is the best that works for me personally because I already have like a short time span to think of things, so I think 5 is too much. But anyway, basically what you're going to do is you're going to name 3 things you see, 3 sounds you hear, and you're going to move 3 parts of your body. So for instance, I'm sitting here, I'm doing homework or whatever the case may be, and I'm in this room. So basically the first thing I would do, I would find 3 things. I don't know, picture frame, printer, stuffed animal. Now 3 things I hear. I hear the child crying outside the window. I hear the air conditioning, and I hear one of my dogs standing outside the door. Those are the 3 things that I hear. Now the next thing would be to move 3 parts of your body. For instance, I can move my wrist, my ankles, and my fingers. Now, by focusing on that 3-3-3 method, that really, really helps alleviate some of the stress that you have on your mental state. It actually serves as a distraction, which really, really helps facilitate that calming technique. That is number 4. Oh, and a side note, that will help bring back to the present moment. So by you doing all these little things, it actually kind of helps you ground yourself and bring you back to the present. For number 5 of my tip is writing. I am such a big believer in writing things down. Now, I do this all the time. I do not necessarily journaling, but I have a to-do list. I love to write. Even in school, I write. I don't like to type. I like to physically write everything out. I feel like it helps me focus. It grounds me. But writing during an anxiety attack, a panic attack, or whatever feeling that you may have is actually very, very beneficial. Write what you feel, basically. So this will basically dilute the anxiety by putting your feelings into words. And that's very, very important. So if I start feeling a certain type of way and I just can't express them out verbally, you know, just pull out a little pad, a little pen. You don't have to write a whole story. Literally just write words. You know, I'm feeling this and this and this. And that will kind of ground yourself as well and bring you back to reality. I think that those are 5 awesome tips to quickly, of course, help decrease any kind of anxiety that you may have. Just a side one that I kind of thought about today, because one of my best friends wrote me this morning and we were just kind of talking about it. But verbalizing, or not necessarily verbalizing, but like more like asking for a second opinion from someone who you feel very close to, a family, a friend. Let's just say if I'm feeling a certain type of way and my best friend or my husband, I know he's like my right hand. So I would contact him and be like, you know what, I'm feeling this type of way. I'm very nervous. I'm having anxiety with this type of thing. I'm getting very overwhelmed. Expressing these things or verbalizing to them might actually help you in a way, because it will help you hear what you're saying. And sometimes you start to realize that it's really not that bad as you think. A lot of these things build up, and feelings, build up in your head. And the more you think of them and the more you focus on the negative energy and you hold on to that, is going to get worse. I feel like that my husband really helps me immensely as far as bringing me back down, calming me, helping me self-regulate. And I feel that that is very important to be able to do, is to verbalize your thoughts. And if you can't do that, like I mentioned before, write them out. You can always write them as a text message. And that's why I was talking about my girlfriend and I. We were texting this morning and, you know, just kind of talking about some things that are going on and how we're feeling. And we were able to kind of both realize that it really wasn't that much of a big deal as we thought. And it was easily resolved. And the more she sat in her feelings, the worse it was going to get. So sometimes you just need that little push from somebody that you really closely admire, or, you know, that you just have a very special connection with. So it's okay to speak up. Yeah, that's basically all I have for today. I have so many other tips and things, but I really wanted to make this video short and just to kind of share things that I feel have helped me in my journey. I have so much more to talk about on this topic, but of course I can always leave that for later on. So if you guys have any other helpful tips that you guys do when you guys feel like this, please let me know. I'll write it down in the comment section, or just feel free to share and let me know. So I really appreciate you guys, and yeah, everyone have a great day. Gracias. Ciao.